Hey y'all, it's JoJo. As you can see in the title, we're talking about I had 4 kids by the time I was 19 years old. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. I'm JoJo. And in my YouTubes, I talk about positivity. I'm not glorifying prison, thinking it's cool, nothing like that. I'm spreading positivity to people that's, in different ways, all different ways. There is hope. And I love y'all. And for all you my returning OGs, I love you so much. Thank you. I wanted to talk about today about having 4 kids by the time I was 19 years old. Okay, now this might be in parts. I don't like doing YouTubes in parts or, anything in a part 1, part 2, but you're talking about 4 kids, y'all. So, number 1, baby. I got pregnant when I was 14 years old. My mother was in and out of jail and mental health issues and stuff like that. If you've watched my other YouTube stories, you would kind of know what I'm talking about. God rest my mother's soul. She's no longer with us and hasn't been with us for 26 years. But anyways, I was 14 years old. My mother went to prison, and it was either go to a foster home or get emancipated, and I got emancipated. So here I am, 14 years old, emancipated. I'm pregnant. My oldest son's father. I have 5 kids, but they have 2 fathers. I used to say just 1, but because this is why. You'll know why when I tell you the story. So here I am, 14 years old. I'm pregnant, emancipated. Confused, scared, all that stuff. Well, I go to deliver my son, and it's a very, very long delivery. Matter of fact, they let me go 3 weeks overdue with my son, Matthew. So I have him, and you know how they clean the baby off and stuff and give them to you. Well, back then they used, my son would be 31 next month, March 14th. So, hey Matt, I love you. Mwah. Anyways, his first feeding, he started going, stretching, like turning stiff, and his mouth turning blue, and then all of a sudden, it was so scary, y'all. I didn't know what to do. I jumped up out of the bed, tore every stitch that I had, that they put in, that they did to me. They stitched me up a lot. Tore every stitch. I'm bleeding down the hallway running, saying, help me, my baby, my baby. Well, they took him from me, y'all. And this is the most stressful. This is really hard to talk about, but I might only been 14 years old, but you would have thought I was a 40-year-old grown woman because I stayed there with my son. Okay, let me not get off track. So they took him away. They didn't tell me. They couldn't tell me nothing. They had to stitch me back up. And then they come and tell me my son is having seizures, and we don't know why. Y'all, he kept having them. He would have seizure after seizure after seizure after seizure, and he would stop breathing. I would put clothes on him, right? And they would cut him off. So I just started leaving little t-shirts on him and wrapping him up. Well, he was in the ICU for 2 weeks at the hospital. Okay, then they thought they had his seizures under control. My cousin is driving me home with the baby, and all of a sudden, he starts doing the same thing he did when his first feeding. She turns around real quick, races back to the hospital. Here I am. I'm going into Children's Hospital. My baby's not breathing. They take him from me. Once again, I have to sit out and wait and cry and wonder, and it's just, it was horrible, y'all. I was 14 years old, with nobody. I didn't have anybody. My mother was in prison. No brothers, no sisters. My father chose drugs and prison style over, I'm the only child, so over my mother and I. So I'm sitting waiting in a waiting room, and they come out and told me that I can come see my baby. And they was explaining to me. They did really good, y'all, because I'm a bold person. If I don't understand something, even back when I was a young teenager, I've always done it. If I don't understand, I'll ask. I'm not scared to ask. This is my baby, and his life is practically in their hands. So they would explain it to me where I can understand it. You know what I mean? Sorry, y'all. So he was explaining to me that my son is epileptic. My son is laying on this big stretcher. Wires everywhere. Tube down his throat. They told me they had to overdose him with liquid Valium to get him to stop seizing. So they did that. Of course, they admitted him. At Children's Hospital is a wonderful hospital. You know, mothers can stay there with their children. Y'all, I didn't leave that hospital. My son stayed at Children's Hospital from the time he was 2 weeks old. But 2 weeks old, got sent home, but on the way home, had a seizure and had to go back. So they admitted him in the hospital, and he kept having them over and over. And they kept changing medicine, having them, changing medicine, having them. They didn't know what the heck was going on. So here my son's laying there with tubes all you know, down his throat, and IVs and all these things hooked up to him and stuff. And because they had something hooked up to him that when his heart, because he would stop breathing, so when his heart would start doing what it did, the alarm would go off. It was scary, y'all. It was scary. I didn't have anybody. Like, I had my Aunt JoJo, but she had her own life. She came and visited a lot. My son's father, I didn't tell him until, like, he was, like, maybe a year or two old. But he didn't care. He didn't want nothing to do with him. So anyways, I'm at Children's Hospital with my son, and I meet this girl. We clicked right off the bat. Her baby was in there with broken bones, and that I won't say who it is or what, but her child was in there, her daughter. She knew my story and stuff, and she hooked me up with her brother, which is I got 5 kids. Matthew is by another man. But my other 4 children, my 3 daughters and my last son, are all with the one man I met through my best friend while Matthew was in the hospital. Anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. I just want y'all to know, the story. So he really took well, he claimed the part of dad when Matt was just a few months old. Claimed the part. Not took care of the family, but claimed the part. Anyways. Matt kept having seizures. They kept telling me that he's going to be brain dead. Y'all, I didn't have nobody. Nobody. So, my son's going to be brain dead. I was lost. I was so lost. But I still believed in Jesus. I still believe in God. And I just prayed, God, please let my son, my baby, be okay. Sorry. So in the process of him being in the hospital, he was in Children's Hospital for 6 months. I left. My Aunt JoJo came and got me to go right up the street to get an ice cream. Came right back. I would not leave my son's side. I turned 15 in June. He was still in the hospital. Them nurses and doctors was amazed because, I could have just left my kid there, you know what I mean? Oh, God, no. There's no way. Anyways, Matt still was having seizures. They finally started after about 5 months, they started controlling them some. So his seizures was under control. I found out I was pregnant again. So here I am, pregnant again. My son comes home when he was 6 months old. Excuse me. I have my own apartment. And they told me something about getting him on disability, SSI check. So that's what I did. So I'm pregnant again with my daughter Carrie Ann. I'm pregnant again. Well, he's home. My son's home. I'm pregnant again. I have Carrie Ann. She's a healthy baby. Comes home. I don't really know how to tell this whole story because I don't. There's some, you know what I mean. I just want to give you all an inside look. Well, I have Carrie Ann. Y'all, I am on food stamps. My son gets SSI, and I did get welfare for me and my daughter. Because my father of my 4 kids, all he did was lay on the couch and not do anything. He was just there. But I thought I was in love. Anywho, Carrie Ann Matt was born March 14th, 1989. Carrie Ann was born June 15th, 1990. Then, here I go again. I go for my 6-week checkup, and I'm pregnant again with my daughter, Ashley. Well, Ashley was a little bit a rough, because I had toxemia with all 5 of my children. I had toxemia, so I went into labor, they induced my labor because my blood pressure was so high. Ashley starts coming real quick. Well, Ashley was coming with the cord wrapped around her neck. So they had to rush me into surgery. She stopped breathing. I stopped breathing. Rushed us into surgery. Got her okay. Got me okay. And cut me from my belly button all the way down. Like, just, and anyway, it's not even straight. It's like curved a little bit. But it was an emergency. I don't care. So I have Ashley. She's a healthy baby. She's a healthy baby. But well, let me tell you about Brittany. Then I here I am with Matthew, Carrie, and Ashley. Now, Matthew was a special, because he was always at the hospital. They was always doing tests. They was always doing something. I always, like, every other day, probably 3 days a week, I had to take Matt to the doctor. With 2 other children on my hip. Yes. On a bus. No vehicle. So I have Ashley. I go for my 6-week checkup. Guess what they told me? I'm pregnant again. Whoa. Talking about overwhelming. But y'all listen, I know how you get pregnant. I know what people, the Felicias and Karens out there are going to say. Well, please keep them comments to yourself. I'm letting you know. I know. You know what I'm saying? But I do not believe in abortion. And I loved my little babies. I love my kids. I was not going to give them to somebody else. I was going to do all I could to take care of them, and that's what I did. Even on welfare and SSI, I had enough to pay my rent, my electricity, phone, hygiene stuff, and I got food stamps for the food. So, and that was back then. Not now. That was back then for all, anyways. So, I'm pregnant again. I have Brittany. Ashley was born August 15th, 1991. And Brittany was born August 22nd, 1992. They're exactly 1 year and 1 week apart. So, 4 kids. 15, 16, 17, 8. Well, I was, I just turned 19 when I had Brittany. So, the reason for me making this video is, there's people out there struggling that that's financially okay, mentally okay. They can't conceive, a baby, their husband and them. They can't conceive. I understand this, and there's kids out there that, a boy will tell you, and nothing against you boys, but back when I was young, a boy would tell you anything. Oh, I love you, I love you. Them some major, powerful words. I love you. Just because they say they love you doesn't mean, they love you forever. Because people come into your lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Excuse me. So if we want to fast forward. Now, mind you, the father was in the house the whole time, but he would work a couple weeks and get a paycheck and go off somewhere partying. That's it. I know y'all going to say, well, why didn't you leave him? Because for one, I didn't want to break my family up. For two, I was scared. I didn't have anybody. Even my mother, when she was alive, I love her. She was a good mother when I was younger, but she just had so much mental illness. I'll talk about that in a video too. My mother was paranoid schizophrenic. Full blown, like paranoid schizophrenic. She would talk to pick up the phone. She had a miscarriage one time. I know I'm off topic, but she had a miscarriage one time, would pick up the phone and talk to her dead baby. I mean, my mom just was, yeah, she was there, but she wasn't. I didn't have nobody, y'all, nobody. So I was trying to hang on to what I had, but I was miserable. So fast forward from 92 to 2001, I go to get a pap smear, and they tell me I'm pregnant. What? My youngest is almost 10 years old. What are you talking about? Well, I was. So that's where the fifth one came in at. But my moral, the reason for I'm doing this YouTube video, I'm telling y'all my life story, just to fill you in on everything. I don't know why some people would say, what, are you proud of that? Well, what are you think you're cool? No, I don't. No, I don't. My kids and I, we raised up together. Like, that's why my kids and I were like best friends. I'm the mother, but we're like best friends. We could tell each other anything. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's got its ups and downs with it. I wouldn't trade them for nothing in the world. And for all y'all that probably will ask me what happened to the father, well, him and I haven't seen or talked or done, anything since 2001. And my youngest son lives with him. And I'll tell you a story about that. Dawson's been with their dad, since he was a year old, or maybe like 11 months old. That's when I started getting in trouble and stuff. But yeah, y'all, it's, get an education, have a plan, a life plan. Know you have your life partner. You know what I mean? Before you start having children. Be able to, take care of them. And I'm not saying you can't take care of a kid poor. I took care of all my kids and I was poor. I'm talking I was poor. I went through so much. So much. And then when I lost my mother, and another thing, if y'all got a mother, please take care of her. Because once you lose her, you'll never get her back. Y'all, I know I'm all over the board. Practice safe sex. Like I said, plan. So that's my story on having 4 kids by the time I was 19. On welfare. My son's sick. Oh, Ashley, from the cord being wrapped around her neck, she was in special, classes and stuff too. So she had problems from that. And to this day, she's a healthy girl. They all suffer from mental illness from me, and I guess I take it from my mother. But my mother was real bad. Ashley Well, let me ask her if I can tell y'all that before I just blurt that out. But anyways, Ashley's a healthy kid. But y'all, that's how I had 4 kids by the time I was 19. And 5 kids by the time I was, hell, what was I when I had Dawson? Hold on, I gotta do the math. 28. I was 28. So 4 kids by the time I was 19 and 5 kids by the time I was 28. But you guys, I love you. I got some really, really cool videos, interesting videos coming. And starting, I believe I'm going to start it tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to do a challenge with myself, doing a video. What y'all think about this? Should I do one video, YouTube video, every day for 30 days? Let me know down in the comments what you think about that. I'm going to start it off with a prison recipe. Yes, a prison recipe y'all been asking for. So let me know what y'all think about that. Y'all, I love you. I appreciate all the love and support I'm receiving. Once again, I've been out of prison for 6 years. June 8th will be 5 years clean, no relapses. And people do change and everything. So y'all know my channel's about the prison, mental health, recovery, and what else did I say? I don't know. I forget sometimes. It's like that. Anyway, it's about love and positivity and letting y'all know, anybody going through this right now, there is hope. There is hope. I promise you. I promise you. Remember to love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Give somebody a smile, because what? You never know what they're going through. A smile might make somebody's whole freaking day. So, y'all, I love ya. And I hope this was a good video. Anyways, let me know down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. And if you do, ring the bell and hit all so you'll be notified every time I upload. And let me know what you think about the 30-day challenge of one video every day for 30 days, y'all. 30 days. I love y'all. And until next time, check me out on TikTok. I was going to change my name, but I'm not. My TikTok is JoJo Grubs Now. Check me out on TikTok if you haven't already. And until next time, I love y'all. Bye.